Hello everyone, I'm Joe Ackourey, and welcome to the Fly of the Week. For this episode, episode 23, I'll be tying a traditional red quill wet fly. So let's get started. Okay, the traditional red quill wet fly. Start by placing your hook in the vise, making sure that your shank of the hook is parallel with your tabletop. And now I want you to cover the entire shank of the hook with thread. There you go. You always want a good foundation of thread so that the materials bite into the thread base as opposed to, bare hook. All right. First step is putting the tail on. So we select a hackle, and this fly calls for a medium done hackle. We're selecting a hackle whose fiber length is quite long. We'll find such a feather on either side of the neck. Draw the fibers down to prepare the hackle. You want to draw them down until the hackle fibers are perpendicular to the stem. Almost there. There we go. Now, I'm going to pull this group here, about a 1/2 inch worth. I'm pulling the tail on the side in which these are the natural ends, and the ends that are attached to the stem yet are called the cut ends, so to speak. So I'm going to, because I always want to pull the material from the direction in which the tail is facing. The tail on this fly is going to be facing out that way. The natural ends are going to be jetting out. So here's the natural ends. I'm going to use the tips of my fingers to grab the tips of the hackle fibers. Squeeze that very tightly. Grab your top of your hackle. Pull it away. Okay. Gather your bunch very carefully and slide them out. And there's your perfect tail, guys. A couple of shorter ones there, maybe. That looks pretty good. Okay. So we have our tail. Now we have to measure it for the correct length. So we have a shank of the hook and the eye. That's what I go by. The length of the shank of the hook, including the eye. So once I get that, I pop that right in that spot. And secure it with a bunch of wraps. Go all the way up the shank to secure the entire excess. I'm going to retighten my bobbin. It's a little loose, or my vise. It's a little loose. I don't want the hook sliding out on me. Okay, now return your thread right up against the tail, but not hitting the tail. So there we go. There's our tail is in place. Now for the body. The body's a little more complicated. You want to select a dark ginger or a Rhode Island red hackle, a quite long one, because we're going to literally strip all this off. All the fibers have got to come off, all the hackle fibers, to expose the stem. On a Rhode Island red or dark ginger hackle, the stem is like reddish, which is a pretty good imitation of this classic or traditional representation of the male Henderson mayfly. But you could see it has a red cast to it. I'm hoping the camera will pick it up. But ideally, you want to, after you get done stripping all this off, you want to soak the quill or the hackle stem. You want to soak it so that it doesn't split on you. So I've prepared a hackle already. A hackle stem, here it is. And I'm going to wet it again just a little bit with a little bit of saliva, just to make sure it doesn't split on me as I'm wrapping. But it's been soaking for a little while, so this is just a little insurance. So now, you want to take the skinny end, as opposed to the butt end of the hackle. The tip of the hackle is what you want to secure. And you secure that on the side of your shank of the hook. Ride that all the way up to about the 80% point. And you're going to take this and very carefully, and I mean real carefully, the first couple wraps could be a little tough. And you want to butt the wraps right up against each other. And the stem naturally gets thicker as it gets closer to the base. And just keep wrapping this carefully all the way up. Hopefully it won't split on me. And you want to go up to the 80% mark back off a wrap. Have a little gap there. I want to fill in. There we go. Keep going. Right around there. It looks good. Maybe one more. I want to secure that. Really nice. Very good. Clip off the excess. All right, now we have our tail, which is equal to the shank of the hook, including the eye. We have our nice body, cool body made from the Rhode Island red hackle or dark ginger hackle stem. I just have a little piece there I want to get rid of. Now for our hackle. Our hackle or collar is going to be a medium done hackle, size 12 in this case. And first up, you want to get rid of all this downy fuzz. Get rid of all that. And secondly, notice the natural curve to this feather. I always want the feather curving down and over the fly as opposed to up and away. So I'm going to attach this to right in front of the body that we just made. But before I get into that, I want you to make sure that I just didn't pick any hackle off the neck here. There's like a billion hackles here on this neck, as you can see. I chose a hackle whose fiber length is equal to the shank of the hook, including the eye. And because I'm proportioning materials to a hook. The hook is the master, guys. So the rule goes, you know, just like I did for the tail, I'm going to proportion the hackle. When I wrap this hackle around, you're going to see that the length of this hackle is going to be about 1.5 gaps to 2 gaps at the most. So I'm going to attach this hackle right up against the body. And then I'm going to clip off the excess. I only need 1 or 2 or a good 2 wraps of hackle around this to form the collar. So there's 1. Right there's 1. And I'm going to chase with my bobbin just like I've done before. 2. 2 full wraps. Don't go crazy with wrapping. Clip off your excess. Move your thread out of the way so you don't end up cutting that. Draw the collar, pull the collar back, drawing all the fibers back. And just wrap a couple of wraps into that collar. That'll help keep it back, just like so. Very good. Now for our wing. Our wing is made out of no other than natural lemon wood duck feather. Get rid of all this fuzz and discolor. Oop, that hackle broke off, or that base broke off. That saved me a little time. Now, I'm going to cut the center section out of this and utilize that whole piece for my wing. I'm going to gather that up carefully. Notice that that has a curve to it. I want it curving down and over the fly, like so. The length of my wing is equal to the entire hook length. And I'm going to draw an imaginary line from the butt end of this hook straight up. And that's where my wing length is going to be. Secure your wing with a bunch of wraps. Not bad. Clip off the excess. Cover any visible material from the wing. Got a little bit there. Build your knot. There you have it, man. This is a traditional red quill wet fly. A little bit of head cement. And you're pretty much all set. Easy fly to tie. Let me straighten out some of these barbs here from the wing. Got a couple wild ones here. Get rid of them. There you go. There it is, fellas. It's a traditional red quill wet fly. Great fly. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in my next episode. Tight lines, guys.